Oh yes, Base Boxing Basement. Make sure you like, please, like, because you know the small reality telling truth channels like it should be. They like to persecute in the algorithm plus individuals. So hit the like. It provides some protection. Anyway, yeah. So this weekend, well, you know, it was okay. There's a few boxing matches around, nothing massive, right? As usual, right? The headlines will be dominated by heavyweights, big names, Ngannou, Tyson Fury. Will Tyson Fury retire? Who's Ngannou going to fight next? And, you know, it's an interesting question. I mean, I said before, like, Ngannou definitely wants to stay in boxing. He's 37. You know, let's say he's got three. You know, I mean, Zhang is 40. But, you know, you don't want to go on beyond 40 much. I would say, let's say you've got 3 years, Ngannou, and get as many paydays as you want. Go for the big names, whatever. And I think, you know, one of the main things is, the main question is, was Ngannou severely flattered by the Tyson Fury fight? Now, obviously, I mean, it's quite clear that Ngannou is way better than anyone thought he'd be. You know, he looked terrible on the pads when I seen him. Yeah. Even before the fight, he was on the pads, and I was like, man, he doesn't look like he punched that hard. Let alone throw a decent shot. But then he got in the ring. He was boxing. His jab was good. His right hand wasn't bad. He put Tyson over with an arm punch, left hook. I don't know. It was a bit dodgy. I don't know. When you talk about this fight, you got to think: is it arranged, or was it real? So if we say it's real, you know, Ngannou performed out of his skin, and he certainly had some skills. I mean, his massive, giant, PD'd up body, right? Anyone who thinks Ngannou's not on PDs, man, it's just not crazy. I don't normally in the pub go, oh, but they all get tested, don't they? I'm like, really? I'm like, right, okay. Lance Armstrong, you know, got tested every week or whatever, and he passed every single test. Yeah, but he got him eventually. Yeah, but not when he was. What does that mean? You know, not when he was actually competing. You know, what about the 1988 Olympics? Every single guy in the final, including Carl Lewis, the so-called clean one, failed a test at some stage of their career. I mean, you just can't bother with these idiots. And I tried to explain to them about masking, yeah, about substances that they don't even know to test for yet. And all I do is get a blank normie face, yeah? Anyway, but Ngannou, right, so Ngannou, yeah, the question is, how bad was Fury? Terrible, obviously. You know, I mean, I don't even spar or train for that. That shot that put him over, let's pretend it's real, right? Let's pretend there's no shenanigans. That shot that put him over was an arm shot. It wasn't very good, you know? And he went over, you know, and it's, you know, it's funny, if you don't spar, the first time you go out sparring after not sparring for a bit, your chin feels suspect because your head's not used to it. You do, unfortunately, have to take a few shots in sparring to toughen you up. But it's not even that. He was awful. He hardly threw many punches. Yeah, he arguably lost or drew. You know, he looked out of sorts. He didn't know what he was doing. Terrible. His body with his mottled lard all over it. Just the most you know, it doesn't matter what athlete you can get. Even those big fat NFL guys who just sit on the front lines and just try and stop someone from reaching the quarterback in better shape than this pig. Like he looked like a huge fat pig that just gorged itself since birth and was going to be slaughtered for some special feast or something. You know, he was repulsive, pink, mottled pig, Tyson Fury. And, you know, of course, the roided up Ngannou, yeah, he was much better. But the question is, how much better? I mean, better than expected. I mean, you know, but how much better is that? How would he fare against, well, A, a trained Fury, or B, you know, some of the other guys, the top heavyweights? I mean, people getting excited, going, oh, I think he'd knock out Joshua. Well, he might do. Joshua's gun shy and all that. But I think we don't want to overestimate this guy who's had one fight against a guy that the fat pig that didn't train. And it's very hard, you know. And people are talking about, why did he fight Joe Parker? You know, Tyson's his cuck friend. Yeah, watch my video about Paris, and the Corey. There's, you know, it's very weird. This Joe Parker Joe Parker. Yeah, he's gone from New Zealand, yeah, over to Morecambe, which is the other side of the world. He's got 4 kids and a wife. He never sees them. He stays in Tyson's house. It's a bit odd. Tyson's known to be creepy. Yeah, who knows what horrors goes on there. Yeah, so they're talking about Joe Parker and Ngannou. Now, Parker looked pretty good actually at the weekend. Yeah, he was facing quite a basic, novice kind of guy, but a guy who had a lot of experience. Even though he looked like a novice, he'd fought in the Olympics in 2012. But Parker looked good, solid boxing. I can't imagine that he'd get beaten by Ngannou. There's always a chance of a fluke shot, but I think Ngannou's powers, I wouldn't say overrated, but you know what? We've seen him drop Tyson with an arm shot, but you know, I don't know. It wasn't a heavy knockdown, and it was suspicious as far as I'm concerned. And then you got who else? Zhang vs Ngannou. I'd love to see that, but I believe Zhang would absolutely wipe out Ngannou. You know, it's just too skilled, too fast, too hard punching. And it's true. It's quite clear that Ngannou isn't a novice they all claimed him to be. What I mean, he did start boxing with boxing. He went to MMA, but you know, MMA fighters do a lot of boxing training too. You know, they use their hands as well. You know, obviously, they have to train a lot of other things. But in terms of people saying, "Oh, it's like comparing badminton to tennis," well, it's not really. It's like comparing someone who trains 100% of his time on tennis and someone who trains only 20% of his time on tennis. That's what it's about, because the punches in MMA, yeah, except for the funny spinning punches, are basically the same as boxing, right? And he's obviously done a lot of training. He's probably been training for 15 years in boxing on the side with MMA. You know what I'm saying? Huh? So, you know, I believe Parker would be too classically trained and skilled for Ngannou. Yes, there's a chance. I mean, Joyce doesn't look that great, does he? We see what he did to Parker and others. People talk about Joe Joyce and Ngannou. That'd be a fun fight. Again, I have to go with Joyce. I mean, we're only judging on one contest in Ngannou, so it's a bit hard. But he certainly was a lot better than we'd expected. And what's the other one they keep on coming up with? Yeah, Zhang. I mean, Zhang would be a bad idea for Ngannou. It might be a good payday, but it's a bad idea, in my opinion. Yeah, the rematch against Fury, obviously, which I don't want to see. But that would be quite a good fight for Ngannou to take. And then this name, Derek Chisora. Derek Chisora. It keeps on coming up a lot, Derek Chisora. I don't really want to see Derek fight again, you know. He's been in a lot of wars. He seems to be around forever. Yeah, his speech has definitely changed, and it will continue to change whether or not he takes punches to the head. And I find him quite funny sometimes, although he's very creepy. He's obviously been bought. Yeah, if you see like, look at his hat. What do you think that hat means, eh? What do you think about that hat? Yeah, what do you think he's saying with that hat? What do you think? Come on, man. And he's also talked when he's Vitaly, I swing both ways, and there's weird pictures of him with David Hay and talk with the Vaseline and the lube. So he's obviously been bought and he's a bit creepy, but there was something I quite liked about. He spoke his mind. Yeah, Chisora. But so I don't know at this stage. You could think, well, Ngannou's massive. He punches hard. Chisora's there to be hit. Would he bang out Chisora? You could lean towards that. You know, too fresh, too strong, even though like they're about the same age. You know, Chisora's had a lot of hard fights, man. He's very shop worn. Yeah. And I mean, has he got better boxing skills? Well, it's hard to tell, really. I mean, Chisora was never that. Chisora's not that big a puncher. He's not that skillful. He sort of rumbles forward. He's tough, but he's got his level, and that level is below world class or true world class, right? I mean, I think it would be a decent fight for Ngannou. I don't know that Chisora is a big enough name for Ngannou to take it. If I was Ngannou, you know, you got to go for 10 mil fights and above. That's it. If you can get 10 mil fighting Chisora, and Chisora's been like taken on by the Saudis, right? You know, they made him like an envoy or something. Then do it. Do it. Who would I lean towards? It's hard at this stage. Like, you know, before the Fury fight, obviously Chisora, but like now, I don't know. And Chisora is shot worn, right? I think And Ngannou's chin, it's always been said it's good. He's got a big head. He did get hurt by Miocic when he got hit right on the chin, albeit with 4-ounce gloves in the second fight. And then Miocic stepped in and bing, he got fell on his own leg. Ngannou put him on his own leg. So, yeah, that's, I wouldn't want it to... If I was Chisora peeps, his family, I would like, come on, man, you got to stop this now. You got to stop this, man. You're already going towards the level of being an imbecile, right? And they asked him for the fight, and he went, "Oh, is a lion ready to eat?" Yeah, I mean, they talk about 23rd. I mean, I don't think anything will happen on the 23rd. It's just, I don't know, they keep on going on about this date, right? I mean, having said that, what is it? So it's, 6 weeks away? That's enough to arrange a big fight, but it seems a bit too little time. And they better announce something soon. But Chisora and Ngannou, I mean, I'd watch it. I wouldn't pay for it. I'd watch it. I would, at this point, probably lean towards Ngannou because he's fresher. And Chisora's just never been that good. And he's taken a lot of losses, albeit at the top level. But, yeah, I doubt it will happen. It's just more talk. Boxing's just like a soap opera. Talk. Very little action. Even Gay J got it right. Yeah, all talk, no action, said Gay J. But he's right. That's modern boxing. It is all talk and no action. And see, the difference is in things like football, they got to play, or tennis, they've got their tournaments, they got their dates, they got to play. It doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter. You can talk as much as you want, but you're getting the matches, right? But in boxing, you can talk. I mean, Tyson hasn't defended his title for a year almost, and that was against Chisora, for crying out loud. So there's a lot more talk in boxing and a lot less action. Yeah, we need more action, man. And people always compare the UFC, it's not the same model. It's very different. The UFC is a promotional organization and a well-governing body, and more or less the management and matchmaker. Yeah, not quite, but basically. Yeah. Because if you don't take the matches the UFC wants, what are they going to do? Well, they'll ditch you, right? The manager's just a sort of token figure for the fighter. And because the Muhammad Ali Act, that can never be replicated in boxing, and you wouldn't want it anyway. But what we got next week? That John Jones is going to fight Miocic. John Jones got injury. And then he got Sergei Pavlovich vs Aspinall. That's a super fight, man. That is a real good fight. I may even stay up for that. You get me? I'd stay up for anything these days. And Jiri vs Alex Pereira. I mean, those are two great fights on one bill. Yeah? Both of them, you could argue, were the equivalent of super fights in boxing. Yeah. Anyway, whatever. We'll see. I'd like to see Pavlovich try boxing, man. That'd be pretty cool. Peace in the Middle East.